Lance Mechanics here today, and I have my 2017 RZR XP 1000. It's a Polaris for those who are not into off-roading. I've had this thing, my goodness, 8 years now. Love it. It needs some love. It's been making noise, but let you in on a secret. All Polarises make noise. There's a reason they only offer 6 months warranty on a thing that's worth $24,000 or more. I think they're going for 30 grand Canadian now, and 6 months is all the warranty you get because they can't stand behind their product. Even though it's got the same, mostly the same design for the last friggin', I don't know, friggin' 15 years, they still can't do things wrong. And in this video, you'll hear some of my quirks here. I have some love-hate with their design. At the end of the day, they're not automotive quality, let's put it that way. They're an off-road enthusiast thing, and if you drive their sleds, you know what I'm talking about. It's either you love it or you hate it. So let's get into the video. This is gonna be a check. So if you don't own a Polaris RZR, it's gonna be more of a teaching thing. I'll show you what to look for, where common things are. If you want to know more, I'll do more videos. But first, we're gonna have to go through this, and I'm gonna have to find what's making the noise, and then I'll have to order parts and then do a full video at a later date. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start with some basics. So for people who've watching this and you never got into a Polaris RZR, the door is right here. I know it seems weird to be mentioning this, but some people don't know. They're not used to suicide doors. They'll come over here and try and open it, and they'll eventually get it. And so these seats are removable. You can pull a little lever back here, and I can remove this one-handed. These seats are waterproof and extremely light, so let's put this down. Again, I'm just trying to prove it's one-handed. So on these, this is where the main fuse box is, your battery. Believe it or not, this battery it's a 17, so it's probably produced in 16. So yeah, this battery is pretty old and it's still going. I will admit, Polaris has tough batteries. So another thing, seat belts. People don't realize they have seat belts. I always wear them. It's got a roll cage, but you still have to be careful. These things can be very dangerous. I've come close to flipping these over. And now let's get to this. So for those who don't know, it has lights. It has a 4-wheel lock. Well, I shouldn't say lock. This is what engages your 4x4. On the front diff, there's an actuator, and it engages it. You're always putting power to your center drive shaft running through the center here. Speedometer, you can change it from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. Here's your shifter. You always want to pull it back, go high, low, neutral, reverse, park. Always leave it in park. So to start these, it's like a car. You have to put your foot on the brake pedal and then turn the key. You'll hear everything turn on, and eventually it'll start. So after it's started, it's generally like a car. So it's steering. Accessories are an option. I found these at Princess Auto to get mirrors. Again, everything on a Polaris is options. These things come bare bones. You don't even get full doors. To get the bottom half of the doors, you're paying more. So steers like a car, accelerator, pedal, brake. Very basic. The old poop handle for whoever's sitting in the passenger seat. I can get these things through the air, pretty common. So let's talk about some locations of things. Now that we have the seat out, what's this? This is where your ECM is located on these, for people who don't know. And yeah, owning one of these, you're gonna see that dirt gets everywhere. There's nothing you can do. So they put these little access panels to make things a little easier. So I like to pull this off in the winter because I do get some hot air through there. A lot of aftermarket accessories, they'll put something on the exhaust that'll funnel air through here so you can have some hot, lovely air in the fall. That's always nice. I don't have that yet. So what else? So you can see on my unit, I opted for the winch and bumper. Again, this is all accessories. They charge you for it. They do not give you anything for free. This is where you'll find your coolant overflow reservoir. This isn't a rad cap. You got to remember that. So this is just telling you to check it. So mine's at the below minimum, or it is hard to see. Now, if we look in here, we're going to see one of my first gripes. So here's the winch. Here's your upper rad hose. Unfortunately, if it's touching here, it can vibrate. You can see kind of the dark spot right there. That's just it's Polaris. They just don't care about quality, fitment, and issues. And yes, I can deal with it, but I've always kept an eye on it. One of the things I see constantly is when these start getting burrs in it, they start catching right here. And eventually, you're going to go through a rad hose on the front here. Luckily, it's a short section. You don't have to go from the front to the rear of the machine. Just something I'd mention. This is where your winch hookups are. This is all installed aftermarket. Like, they installed it, but it's still aftermarket. Your fuse. Simple little things. Winch is down there. For those who don't have a winch, here's your little quick release thing. If you want to pull it out, I watch people hit the button and unwind it very, very slowly when you can just hit that neutral release. You know, everybody's different. So onto the passenger side. So they got a little glove box here. It's not waterproof, as you can see here. Stuff's gonna get in there. I got my winch controls there. So people don't know, these have floor drains, and trust me, these fill up with water all the time. I lose these all the time. You hit a rock or something scrapes along here, these pop out and they fall down, and you lose them. The things are $40. It's annoying. Here's your actual watertight storage. I put my phone in there, my wallet when I'm going. You need your insurance slips and your ownership when you're out here in Ontario. So on each side of your RZR, you're gonna have these fine breathers. They're say they keep dust out, but everything else on these doesn't seal, so not really. As you can see there, it's getting in there no matter what you do. Each side has one. Let's go to the other side. Here's the other side, and as I can say, it gets in there. There's not much you can do. This one's for the CVT. As you can see, there's mud getting down there. Comes right here, goes to this. We'll get this cover off as we go further in this video. So this is the main one for your airbox. So, see the mud there? I got the filter off, and you can see it's still getting all the way around there. Isn't that wild? Not much you can do. I thought that was cool. But yeah, air filter's back here. I didn't show it, but there's a cover that you can go right here, pull up, lift up. You can't check your oil from here, but if you have issues suspecting spark, this is where you go. This is where you fill it for oil. This is basically a small car when you think about it. All right, now that let's say you're doing an oil change and you don't know where the dipstick is, let me show you. It's right here just behind the shock, and it's a locking tab one. Pull up and release and pull it out and you'll be able to check your oil. Pretty simple. Everything's mostly accessible on this thing if you have issues. Like there's a lot of electrical over there. But it's a very simple machine at the end of the day. I see a lot of stretch cables from shifting because people are on the edge here, worn CV shafts. Again, in this video, we're going to go try and find out my issues. So we're on the left rear wheel well, and this is a very problematic area for this whole industry, or at least Polaris. As you can see here, you got wires just sitting on brake lines, and as this thing flexes up and down, it rubs through. I kept an eye on it, but it's just the fit and finish on these things sucks. So you get a lot of weird gremlins on these machines. Not much you can do. Hopefully you're just very good at troubleshooting. It's simple at the end of the day. There's maybe 80 wires, and that's a little daunting to some people, but not me. All right, so now that I've gone over this unit and given some people a rough explanation what a RZR is and where things are, we're gonna go check the unit for the noises I'm hearing. I have a sneaking suspicion it's the front diff, U-joints, hanger bearing, rear axle, and who knows, maybe I'll find other stuff. These are just common wear and tear items, and as I go through the video, I'll show you why they fail. Again, this is like a backyard or manufacturer company. The driveline angles and the way they made things is just garbage, but you know what? I still love the machine. Bringing you content, right? So let's get into it. We're gonna start in let's start in the front end where I definitely know something's going on. Noise transfers, but it's not bad on this side, but there's play here in the axle housing for the front diff. Let's try the other side. So just tried this side and it has way more play. So that's one noise I'm hearing. It's driving me nuts. Let's see if we can get this thing up a little higher. I may jack the front end up. It's always worth checking these. So coming to the conclusion, I may have to buy an ATV jack or a lift. I can get away with that in this garage, but if somebody wants to send me a link of one or sponsor me, go ahead. I forgot about the turning radius and the friggin' travel on these things. It's very enjoyable. Maybe I'll put a lift kit on this, but let's get to the next component. Always trying to get you guys the best angle. So anyways, hopefully it shows up on the light, but maybe you can hear it. So the U-joint and the pinion bearing have play. I gotta check some specs. Definitely the U-joint, but that could be an issue. There are rebuild kits for these front diffs. See if I can zoom in a little more for you. Sorry for the angles. Maybe you can tell me if this is in spec. Focus. Oh. Anyways, that seems to be where most of my noise is on this thing so far. So let's get to the rear and see what we can find there. All right, viewers, here we are at the rear. So this is the drive shaft that goes right to the front, and anybody who's into trucks or anything on the road, you can tell me why this is so stupid. You don't have canceling out angles, and this thing will fail. Just look at that. So I'll try and get you the best view here, because I know this is going to be bad. Focus. So the U-joint's gone, and it has play on this spline. So hopefully it didn't wear into the spline, and I could just get that yoke end and the two U-joints, but knowing my luck, no. So let's regroup here. So let's recap. I don't think there's going to be any other noises than what you've seen on this video. So front differential definitely needs a rebuild. Front U-joint, rear U-joint and yoke has play. I didn't really hear any other noises. When you're a mechanic, you know when something's on acceleration, and I did get these up to 120 kilometers an hour, and look at the tires. You're gonna feel vibrations, but you just know something's out. I remember doing an alignment on, like, the steering wheels come like this right from factory, and I straightened it out because it was bugging me. It was no effort whatsoever. Like, these things are tracking so bad. Like, we would put alignment machines on the wheel ends and you'd put in your own specs. Straight is straight, you can pretty much figure it out, but there's a zero quality control, I swear, on Polaris, and whatever, I knew what I bought. It's a cool machine. Anyways, I'm gonna have to source out these parts. If I'm pulling the front drive shaft, or whatever you wanna call it, the impeller, propeller, driving forward, I'm definitely gonna try and order an upgraded kit, because I know these hanger bearings, the rubber is garbage, but they're a lot of money. A lot. They know. The people who make these aftermarket accessories, they know you need it, because you don't want to go through all that trouble to put an OEM part back in, not with these things. Same with the front diff kit. I'm gonna find, I think from Sandstone or something there, they make an updated kit, and I'll do in the video me rebuilding it. That's affordable right now. The U-joints, we'll try the U-joints and the yoke. Upgrading the drive shaft will definitely have to come at a later date, because I'm not made of gold here. I'm human. I know that thing's gonna be $1,000, and then yeah, so you may see this video a few weeks from now. Different kind of content. There's nothing complicated about these things other than they're stupidly priced now. When I bought this, and it was the late 17, early 18 there, I thought it was reasonable and affordable. $400 a month for 5 years. Now, I don't understand how anybody can afford these. Like, times have changed. This is one of those things that I'm never gonna sell. I've already had it that long. There's no reason to upgrade. It does everything I need. I'm happy with it. So if you like this video, leave a comment. Hopefully somebody who's into ATVs can send me some stuff. I love that kind of thing. We'll go from there. So Lance Mechanics, have a good one. Little bonus info before we go. I drove a Yamaha XYZ, and it was standard at the time before they put the paddle shifts on. My leg has never hurt so much climbing up mountain trails and through bogs. Shifting a manual vehicle like that, that's so small, is way harder than doing it in a Jeep. Just thought I'd put that out there, because I've been through a few of these machines. So yeah, have a good one.